Hello everyone, how you doing today? My name's Darcy and I'm trying to normalize mental health, and the way I'm doing that is by talking to you guys and telling you how I've been pretty much while living with my mental health and how I became a peer supporter. And um, yeah, I just really want to get it out there that mental health is really important. We need to lose the stigma, and pretty much, well, that if we can just get this basic knowledge out there to everyone, I think it'll be a lot easier for people to deal with the everyday stresses. And speaking of stresses, I decided I wanted to do a video briefly about the last pretty much a year and a half of my life. I was fortunate enough, and I say fortunate enough, to have an amazing man come into my life probably a decade ago. And due to circumstances, we never were able to really explore a relationship with each other. That wasn't until about a year and a half ago. Um, Now, the reason why I'm telling you guys this story is because he was a methamphetamine addict. Um, I was under the assumption that he was getting clean when we started talking again. Um, and I decided that I didn't want to lose him again. So I was going to support him through this no matter what. Unfortunately for me, I've never been in a relationship with a drug addict before. I've been with drinkers and people who've experimented, but nobody who actually um, displayed the long term with like negative effects of addiction. Um, And the reason why I'm talking about this is because I really need people to understand how close addiction and mental health go hand in hand. Um, if you know anyone who is thinking about or doing methamphetamine, meth, guys, get them off it. Do whatever you can. And if they don't want to get off it, then you need to walk away from them. Um, it's a really it's a really hard road to travel. Um, I know that um, that this person is an amazing person deep down. The drug had taken effect of his brain to the point, though, where he couldn't trust anyone. He had no self-esteem. He didn't see why he shouldn't be using. And a lot of that had to do with the negative repercussions that the long-term effects of using had. It caused a psychosis. Um, and with this psychosis came a lot of paranoia about all the people who cared a lot about him. But it's a drug that it makes you feel invincible and powerful, and at the same time, it strips you of everyone you care about. Now, I don't know what everybody else's experience has been living with an addict. I can only tell you my experience. And from what I understand, I'm very fortunate that he was always very hands off. He was never violent with us, um, which was really good. But the manipulation levels that we lived with and had to deal with for that year and a bit, um, it was really, really damaging. And he saw what he was doing and he hated what he was doing to us. But it was something that he just wasn't ready to stop. Um, there were a few times where we had to get police involved. There was a few hospital stints, which surprisingly all ended with him walking out. And I'm talking Form 10, so where they can't leave on their own without a mental assessment. He managed every single time to walk out without an assessment, and he always got brought back to me. So if you are someone who, like me, has been living with this and trying to get the help, and you find really quickly that as soon as the word addict comes into play when it comes to hospitals and doctors and all this fun stuff, they put up a wall and they act like they don't want to help. And I want to clarify why that is. There's nothing more draining than offering to help someone and putting all that energy into helping them when they don't want the help. Now, a lot of drug addicts are manipulators. That's how they manage to get through life. And I know the one that I was dealing with was so good, he had about 3 different doctors giving him different prescriptions because he could manipulate them so well. Anyways, it got to a point where I really had to make the choice. Was I going to continue to put me and my kids at risk? Or was I going to keep standing by his side? And I'm going to tell you right now, my heart, I really wanted to just keep standing by his side. But as much as he wasn't physically abusive, there were certain things that he did that robbed me of my trust of people. And he did it several times. So the second time it happened, that's when I made the choice. Do I want to keep living in this cycle, or do I want to walk away from this? So I did. I made him leave. I ended up having to get police involved. But that was it for me. I couldn't keep putting myself out there, and financially, I mean, oh my God, the amount of debt I'm carrying now. And I can't put that blame on him. I'm a full-grown woman. I knew that he had issues when I got into that relationship, and I continued to go that route. So I can't blame him for that. But what I can do is learn from it. And I'm really hoping that with me going through this and learning, I'm hoping I can maybe shed some information for you. Recovery really is a personal thing, and it's not something you can force someone into. If you try and force them into it, they are going to manipulate you, or they're going to walk away, and they're just going to keep doing what they're doing. But saying that, you also got to realize that there's a point where you need to take care of you, especially if there's kids involved. Drugs in general. I'm not saying, trust me, I'm no saint. I'm not saying that certain drugs are bad, but I'm telling you, when you've got a drug that makes it so that you steal from your family, you constantly let the people down around you, you can't hold a job, and you feel miserable when you're not on that drug isn't worth even trying, people. Like, come on. These drugs have been around for a really long time now. And if nobody is making the connection now why people take drugs and mental health, then everybody needs to shake their head. Because if you talk to most addicts, they didn't start doing the drug just for the heck of it, just because they wanted to see what it was like. It was because they were in pain of some form or another. They needed to feel nothing. Or they already felt nothing and they wanted to feel something. Both those cases, those are mental health issues. Now, instead of treating addicts like pieces of crap that are just out there to hurt everyone, we need to start looking at them for who they are. These are people who are very hurt. They've probably come from pretty terrible situations, and life has more than likely not been kind to them. And there was nowhere else for them to turn in their eyes, okay? The reason for that is because to get into a rehab clinic, at least here in Alberta where we live, is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The detox centers they have are about 5 blocks away from the main hubs of where you can get hard drugs. How does that make sense? The fact that there's a waiting list for people to get help, that's wrong. That's wrong. It's just gonna keep things going the way they're going. So if people are so set on making money off of people's mental health, and you're going to charge $200 per session, and you're going to charge $1,600 for a diagnosis, there's a problem, because we got a lot of people with a lot of issues and they need a lot of help, and everybody is too concerned about a dollar. So guess what? Now I'm going to give my information for free because I'm so tired of seeing people suffer when this information has been out there for decades. And yet, a lot of people, do you know what CBT is? Do you know what cognitive behavioral therapy is? Because they say it's great for addicts and people with mental health addictions, and I've taken it, and I am a CBT facilitator now. I am certified. And guess what? It is fantastic, and it is something that every human being should be taught from the time they're very young. Simply because you get to take care of your own mind. Like, we're not taught these things in school. What, you get 2 or 3 sessions of drug talk? People, our kids are doing meth. I am talking teenagers. They are doing heroin. They are doing MDMA. Where do you think this is going to lead them? They're teenagers, okay? They need help. They don't need parents yelling at them and making them feel like crap. They need help. And we are the ones that have to give it to them. If you have gone through it and came out the other side, your knowledge is priceless. You need to share that information with other addicts, people who are trying to get through. Because one of the worst things was when the person that I cared about was looking at getting clean, and he looked at the numbers, he looked it up, what the recovery rate was. And it was disgusting. It was like, I think 65% relapse rate. So here he is thinking, I'm going to do everything I can to keep clean. But here these statistics are telling me I'm just going to relapse again. So why should I bother? We need other recovery addicts out there doing peer support. I'm not talking AA. I'm not talking religion. I'm just talking being a human being and being like, you know what? I've been there. I know how hard it is, and I want to help you out. Okay? So that's what I am doing now. So I know I haven't really been giving a lot of information yet on how to take care of yourselves. I did do a thing on just self-care. I've done a thing on who's at risk for mental health, and I really hope that anyone watching this watches those and shares them. We need to end the stigma. We need people to stop feeling shame because they feel like crap mentally. They just need some support. I'm telling you, I am a survivor. I like you wouldn't even believe. And the one thing that got me through it all was the peer support. It was the support I was getting from the people around me who had been through what I've been through. So please, start taking care of each other, okay? Start getting this information out there, because you never know when someone that you love is going to be in somebody else's shoes that you would never want to see them in, okay? So please, please, please share this video. Get the message out there. Let's normalize mental health. Let's stop the stigma of addiction and mental health. We need to just be a community and be there for each other. I hope you guys have a great day, and thank you so much for listening. Bye.